shit.
Go ahead, Derek.
A second or third.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Stories from the Unbound Shores. Where we last left off, the party had saved this old man that had called himself Zymor from a set of trees that were discovered to be mimics in disguise. Before this, they had been on their way to the city of Mistal and Mount Mistal in hopes of gathering allies or information or both in their attempts at stopping the Death Knight known as Atlas, last known to be in the Forgotten Fortress to the west of Mount Mistal. Upon saving Zymor and a few questions ensued, a few things were learned. One, when Melisari attempted to use Detect Thoughts, it worked. However, he was somehow aware of her presence and asked her to leave. And they also learned through normal questioning that he was out here in search of his grandson, Edward, who had been missing for a few days. That had gone out hunting but never returned in this very dangerous land. There's no telling what could have happened. For viewers at home, I have let my brother in to the campaign for a few sessions to play Gus, to take some of the pressure and duties off of myself, and just because he wanted to hang out. Just so you know who the new voice is. That being said, I believe we can resume the conversation with Zymor, unless there's... one other thing. Last I knew, Melisari was ritually casting Detect Magic in hopes of spotting something either in the area or on Zymor himself.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me, because I think I'd forgotten that.
Yeah. I did my best to catch up on the recent events here. I think that covers it. So I suppose I shall start this. Zymor will say, is there any chance that at least some of you could help me find my grandson? I know I don't have much to offer, but give you what I can.
We're not going to leave this boy out in the elements alone any longer than he's already been out here. We'll help you look for him.
Thank you. Does he speak for all of you?
Yes and no. We all have our individual voices to be heard, but for the majority, I'm pretty sure we can all agree on finding this child.
Are there any places you can think of that your grandson might favorite or spend an increased amount of time?
He likes to try and hunt up closer to the mountains, to the north of here.
Yet you're searching south. You have a feeling that he's closer to this area? Or are you moving that way?
I started some of my search up north and moved south, but I don't know. I've lost track of him. I can take you to the Shrine of Bahamut, and maybe you could track him from there. I don't know. I'm searching for a needle in a haystack.
It is the last place that you knew where he was. Perhaps our survivalists can pick up a trail. I'll look to the party and see if anybody is looking eager to give their hand at that.
Al will shrug. I could try.
Then,
I'm also not terrible at tracking.
excellent. Then, Master Zymor, could you take us to the Temple of Bahamut? Shrine,
I will
as it were.
continue casting as we walk.
What do you...
Yes. As there was also a decent amount of time that passed in the previous session, I'll say at this point, Detect Magic can go off.
I've been counting. I've still got a minute.
Even from the previous session?
Yeah. I had like 3 minutes left.
Okay, then you can do it as they
Oh, there
want.
we go. Oh, I guess that was technically not in character shenanigans, but that's okay.
Good enough. So, you do detect magic in the area. You see some on Eskel, and you see some on Thinon, as they both have, as one has a suit of armor and the other has a weapon.
Crossbow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing on Zymor, though?
You cannot see anything on Zymor. However, to remind you, at the very least, how I run this spell, as it is run a little differently by some people, my understanding of it is it just, like, unless you can see the object that has the enchantment, you don't actually see the aura. So you would just know that there's magic in the area. However, there's already magic in the area. So if there is something on him, it's not obvious, but there could still be something.
Okay, then.
That being said, actually, now I think about it, this should be a bit more in the open. So you'll see he will be actually clutching a symbol of Bahamut, which is radiating magic. Do you study it, or do you just detect it and move on?
I mean, I'm gonna maintain concentration. I'm not gonna go digging around this guy to see if I can find any magic on him specifically.
Yeah. Allow me to rephrase. You can focus on an item, with the spell to learn its school. Is that what you wish to do?
I guess I am curious to have a better understanding of the armor crossbow relationship. Is it just abjuration magic?
On the armor and crossbow, both of them are abjuration.
Okay, I figured.
And their auras are identical in color, which is unusual.
No, divination is at white. Light blue? Whatever.
There isn't any set colors in 5th edition, so I'm making this up as I go.
Yeah.
But on the old man's holy symbol, I believe it would be conjuration.
Okay.
Allow me to double check that.
Transmutation. He turns into a dragon and eats you.
Oh, shit.
Illusion. He's been a dragon the entire time.
God.
Metallic dragons can change their form into a human, and it's not an illusion. They actually become human.
Right.
Interesting.
Isn't it? Do they cast a spell? Is it like true polymorph or something or shape change they cast, or is it
It's not a
creature
spell. It's a
ability?
spell-like ability. So like, it's an inherent magic that they have that lets them change form.
Because I thought like ancient green dragons could cast true polymorph or something like that.
I mean, they might. I haven't looked at the list for them, but I know that chromatic dragons don't inherently have the ability to change form.
So, yes, it is conjuration. Based on
Interesting.
the holy symbol.
Would I know what would be typical of holy symbols? Is it kind of a thing where like everybody's different?
Holy symbols are generally the equivalent to an arcane focus for a divine caster. They are not inherently magic themselves normally, but they are what's often used to channel the power of the divine.
Well,
So,
never mind.
no,
Can't
what
phrase
was
what I'm
the
trying to
question?
phrase.
Uh,
I'm just wondering if I have any idea what sorts of magic items. No, never. I really can't
so
figure
you
out
want
how to phrase
you
it.
want to know what effects conjuration might have?
I feel pretty comfortable with most of them. It's fine.
Okay. Well, if you do think of how you wish to phrase it, you can ask it in hindsight later if you wish. So, you guys are taken back to the road, led by Zymor and his, efforts to take you to the Shrine of Bahamut. It will take you most of the rest of the night to get there, as it's not far from the city of Mistal. So it'll probably be about, I'd say, 7 a.m. when you roll in. So
I thought we were supposed to be able to, at our pace, we were supposed to be able to get to Mistal tonight, only having to have rolled a single Constitution check.
Isn't that like morning for most people? Our night.
Oh. Forgetting that we're shifted.
Yep, you are a nocturnal party, and that's why Melthari had to make one Constitution saving throw, because she was not on the same timetable as you guys.
Okay. Sorry.
Granted, I wasn't a whole lot earlier than you guys, but
In any event, when do we usually go to sleep? 8? Like 8?
I think it was like 8 or 10, something like that. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think we were getting up around 2.
That would mean 6.
Okay. Well, you could push it a few hours without taking exhaustion. But it's up to you guys.
I'm just trying to determine if we're already, like, past when we normally go to sleep. If we're getting to the shrine now, I would take note of, the time it is and the fact that the rest of the party should be wanting to go to sleep, and just say, anybody who wants to continue on to the city, and secure lodging, for rest should do so. Just the people who want to help find this kid. You know, nobody's under obligation to do that.
I already said I would help, so I'm going to help. With finding the kid, that is.
I mean, if nobody wants to bail and find sleep, that's totally grand. I'm happy to have the help. I just didn't want anyone to feel like I'm forcing them to do this.
I've been charged with protecting the living and keeping the dead dead. If he's alive, we'll find him.
Okay.
Dead, we'll find him and make sure that he has proper rest.
Right. Well then.
My only concern is if the quest takes too long, we run the risk of, well, becoming exhausted and becoming increasingly useless. Or if we split up, not being able to find each other as easily.
The party that's out searching will know that the shrine and the city are our gather points.
We also have the communication stones.
We do.
This is true.
I will be going
About...
to look for the boy, but if there are people who are not, we can hand one of the stones to someone in that group.
If there are people disinclined to help look for the boy, I can give up one of the communication stones so that you can communicate with us. Forms the equivalent of sending once a day. But if everybody is on board, then I would just say, let's take a look around and see if we can pick up on a trail.
Well, you see, it's not like I don't want to help look for the boy, but we are kind of... Oh, fuck! Okay.
What?
Just hit him with a hard I don't. Fuck that kid, okay? But we're also kind of on a time schedule here, and I don't want to lose Atlas. Like, I don't want to risk losing the Death Knight that's gonna kill a lot more people than just one kid.
We had wanted to spend very little time in the city itself, most of that time being collecting any information possible about the area we're going to. If there are people who don't feel the need to help us search for the boy, they can gather that information. It might require us to camp outside, but...
I'm also willing to forego sleeping in order to find the boy and stay on schedule.
That's very risky.
What?
Would it be possible to stay on schedule, though? Because, like, you don't know how long it's gonna take. I feel like if we split up, and, like, a couple of people go to the city to gather information, and the rest of y'all go look for the boy, then, you know...
Perhaps
we
us
can stay on
elves
schedule.
should go look for the boy, since we can rest for only 4 hours and have the full benefit.
I
This
think
is
I
true.
have 3 questions that will help us narrow down a solution. What's the old man's name? Out of character.
Zymor.
Mr. Zymor. How dangerous are the beasts or creatures that might be up near the mountain?
I'm not sure. There's been reports of something new it seemed flying the skies at night, but it's only ever people only ever catch a shadow, never the actual beast. So most don't venture out at night if they can avoid it.
I see. And I'm relatively new to your party's dynamic. If you're looking to gather information, whoever's good at that could easily go onto the city and rest. Or spend an hour or 2 gathering information. And then rest.
Well,
and those who are good at tracking could then spend time looking for the boy.
What is it you need to know? I live in the city. Perhaps I can be of assistance? Or maybe I can even find something if, while you're out looking, as I feel I would just slow you down if you're willing to look.
Within the city, we needed to talk to the powers that be, because we intend to go to a place that the city has claimed as its land, and we wanted to ensure that our presence was known and we were not invading. The other thing we needed was not information, but supplies. We're short rations.
I might be able to set you up an audience, but it would take a little time, but I could probably have it ready by the time you returned.
Seems reasonable. I do like the idea of having the elves doing a lot of the searching, since we do need less time to regain our strength.
And one last thing. Before my family was thrown out, I was able to keep one heirloom. You're both, be gesturing to both Dirk and Askel. Do either of you know the draconic and celestial words for recall?
I
I do.
You speak draconic?
I speak
know
Draconic.
I'm
celestial.
trying to remember what I speak.
You
I think
probably
it's
speak
celestial
Draconic.
and abyssal. Or rather, draconic and abyssal, yeah.
I can speak celestial. Probably just bare minimum, but
Well, then,
I speak Celestial, but not Draconic.
if you know the words for both, you could use this to return to the shrine.
Magic?
It was a way of protecting our family. The last person to use it was my son, but he's no longer with us, and we didn't learn the celestial or draconic from him. These are the words needed.
So Edward doesn't know what he should need to say to do it.
He does not. I know, we both know what needs to be said, just not what the words themselves are.
Do you say them one after? How does this work? Explain it to me.
You say the words, you say the word recall, and first in celestial, and then in draconic, and then it should, let me pull up the thing here.
And
It
do you
should
know
take
if the same
you-
person has to say it?
And any creature within 5 feet, like in anyone that wishes to come with you within 5 feet of you, to come back to this shrine.
We just
And they
need to make
be
sure.
spoken by one person.
Whoever is in contact with it.
If
So-
two different of us know the word, like, do we need to know the language, or can I just tell him the word in draconic is this?
You could, I assume that's more of an out of character question at that point.
No, that's an in-character
It's
question.
both.
Well, he'll reply, I assume you can just tell him what the one word is. It shouldn't be too hard to recall.
Is there a problem with testing it right now?
Sorry.
What was that, Eskel?
Is there a problem with testing it right now?
It can only be used once a day.
Oh, yes. Okay. Cool. Oh, sorry, you say you know Draconic. And you're an elf. Oh, you're in the searching party with me, if that's alright.
It'll have to be.
What?
I said it'll have to be.
Okay.
I'm the one who came up with the idea. I'm not exactly about to back out of it just because I'm tired.
I'm just trying to be, reasonable. Okay.
Mind if I accompany you too?
I mean, the more searching, the more we can fan out, the better we can search. Seymour, please, we do have this. This is the problem that is in front of me, and as a devout follower of Bahamut, I see a life that I can help protect and immediately save. So, I am going to focus on this first. But there is another task which puts a great number of people at risk if we fail. So if you could, as you have said, arrange for us to be able to speak with whoever is in power in Mount Mistal, and to be able to quickly procure the rations and supplies we need to make the trip to the Forbidden City?
The Forgotten Fortress.
Forgotten Fortress. Then that would be greatly helpful to us, and we would be happy to bring back your grandson, Edward. I would, at least.
What supplies do you need?
Rations, second pair of boots, a feed for the horse. I think we have a horse. I forget if we have a horse or not.
I don't-
Not,
I think so.
you do not currently, as it was stored at the Raven Queen's camp.
Sorry, I couldn't remember how that situation played out. If we still have the horse or not.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to speak for Emily.
Let's see.
So, rations, many rations. 10 days of rations for 7 people. I think we'll pay for them, but I mean, just have them somewhere we can get them quickly so we can grab them and be on our way.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Alright. We're wasting moonlight at this point, so... Tracking time, yes?
Goody. Yep.
Who is the best tracker among you?
I mean, I think we're all going to roll it and hope for the best.
I have enhance ability.
Sounds accurate.
I can cast enhance ability on somebody.
Is it going to be survival or investigation? Because I can do investigation.
Usually tracking is survival, especially if it's in the wilderness.
Enhance ability would be on wisdom.
Yeah, it would be all of your wisdom checks.
Oh, gotcha. Well, it doesn't matter because investigation is int.
Right.
Al has indicated that they're good survivalists, so perhaps use it on them.
Do you mind, Al?
Not at all.
And I'll cast Al's wisdom on Al.
What does that grant me?
It gives you advantage on all wisdom checks for the next
Wonderful.
hour.
For the
As long as I'm concentrating.
Oh, lovely. Okay, that's
Right,
gonna be
if we
fun.
can track him down within an hour, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alright.
So I take it Gus is coming with the search party then?
I don't have to, but I certainly can.
Isn't it a range for most concentration spells?
I have to touch them, I cast it, and then I just have to concentrate on it.
Yeah, there's not a range after that.
Yeah, just to cast it, you have a range, but no.
Yeah.
But I need to mark off that stuff.
So would it be survival, Derek?
Yes, it would be survival.
You have to hold
Cool.
their hand the entire hour.
That would be hilarious.
Where you go, I go.
Don't. I will let you touch my shoulder, but I will not let you hold my hand. That was an 18.
And did you roll with advantage?
Yeah, that was with
Okay.
advantage.
Mine was a 7.
I suppose I can roll as well, unless casting the spell takes me out of that option.
I got
No,
a
you
20.
can roll.
Who got a 20?
Derek.
Oh, look
What
at you.
the actual fuck is happening?
I
So-
crit. I rolled a 23.
Ugh.
Oh,
So, Especially since the old man's able to point out which ones were most likely, like which section would most likely have his tracks. You're able to suss out the correct, like what you believe should be the correct set, based on size and weight.
I guess the word is sus.
Old man super sus.
I was laughing so hard because the first time I ever roll any die in the entire game is a crit.
Let's see.
So he's going to go to the city and try to arrange some stuff for us, and we are going to do a grid search for this kid.
Yeah. And you have a decent lead with your phenomenal survival rolls.
I got a 7.
I got a 14.
14,
18.
but you have an 18, a 20, and a 23. So that'll do some work.
Yay.
Right, so we begin the search. We headed into the woods, following tracks, looking for sign. And then
Indeed.
if we find something, we roll again.
Yes. Roll again. This would be about half an hour later, so Al, you still have advantage.
Wonderful. Ooh, I'm so glad I have advantage.
I got a 7 again.
I got a 20 again. Different
I
guy,
got a
though.
20.
Ha!
I-
6.
Got a natural 20.
Which is?
Just a natural 20 because I guess I didn't realize that I didn't have any pluses to...
Oh, I probably should have given.
Oh shit, I'm supposed to have
I was listening to
disadvantage.
somebody else.
Maybe I should have done it
You lied to
myself.
me.
I said I could try.
Okay. So we have a 20, a 20, a 20, 7, and a 6.
Remind me
Is
who's
that
been
right?
split up again?
Also, from my understanding, there's the tracking team, and then there's the noble team.
And the nobles headed into the city to hear things.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
And then there's Dirk and the half-orc, who are gonna slow us down later, being all exhausted and such.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Counting on a good constitution roll, basically.
Okay, so I guess I will split you up, and I will take Lady Amelie, Zymar, and Thenon.
Oh, I
off
guess I
to
should
retreat.
cast light then.
I mean, you could.
I believe Amelie has something, but I could be wrong.
Well, once we split up, Amelie's not gonna be giving us light anymore, so I'll take up the mantle of glorified torch.
I will point out every race in your current group has dark vision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, never mind.
So,
And
It might
also,
be
it's
useful
like,
to cast light when we find a place where the trail goes coldish.
yeah, and also it's like 8 a.m., so the sun's coming up.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
also true. Fine, guys, fine.
I think you're okay.
I saw the moving light box and was like, oh, we need to keep that.
alright, so Thenon. Where's Thenon?
No, we don't. Oh dear. No! Cold, no!
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I don't encourage this.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
endorse this.
well. This is true. We are leaving our less responsible members alone.
I swear to God, if you get into trouble.
Anywho,
That I'm super aware of this.
Alright. I'm gonna have to keep the bouncing between sides to a minimum because loading the city map is inconsistent. So I think I'm going to try and do some city stuff first, and then I'll get back to you guys, if that's okay.
Yeah, I expected. We just had a
That's
bunch
fine.
of searchy stuff.
Some really well done stuff. I mean, we're obviously on the right track.
Okay, so then on goes here. That's Askel. Lady Amelie goes here. And then I need Seymour. Deadly thing, deadly thing, deadly thing, deadly thing. Seymour. There it is.
That's concerning.
Yeah, seriously, what?
Oh, hey. Also, with the fact that Eskel's with Search Party, we don't need to explain to town guards.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Did we
How
get rid
rude.
of the sending stones, by the way?
You would have, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, who has that between Lady Amelie and Thenon?
Lady Amelie?
Okay then. Where did I put the alright, there it is. So, can Thenon and Lady Amelie, can you both see as this place is fit with dynamic lighting?
Wait a sec. No.
Hold on.
I might need to refresh, though. Let's see. Oh, jeez. I just see a long tunnel. I see-
That's basically what you should see.
Okay.
So, 1 second.
God. Fucking.
So, allow me to describe this city as it does not entirely clear some of its aspects on the
This map.
what?
I have to zoom out to like. I have to zoom out an awful lot to see.
Yes, there's 100 by 100. It is big.
Killing my browser.
I guess I should have had you also try and load it.
Hold on. Scrolling down. Scrolling down. Oop.
Yeah, there's don't intend to do stuff this size very often, and if you're having problems, I'll do it even less so. But I do hope it works, because the Forgotten Fortress is also of similar size. So, when you enter the mountain, you'll see kind of a grand amphitheater style of city. Like it's all kind of set up on tiers, with each one going back being higher than the one before it, kind of all on a slant towards you. With the main road in the middle being basically a giant ramp up to the top. With kind of offshoots to the left and right every little bit, so as to, capitalize on space. But generally, once you make it to the the kind of housing area, every street that is higher than the buildings below it, like the buildings like directly below it on the map, so that from each section you can basically look straight out and see either to outside or just to the other side of the mountain wall. So as you first enter the city, someone will say, so what do you need first? Lodging? Equipment? What can I do to help you? Lady Amelie, was it?
Yes. This is out of character, but I honestly forgot. What's the information we're trying to find here again? Like about the fortress or something?
Because the fortress was like a construction project of the city, we wanted to speak to, the rulers, basically, and let them know, hey, we're here, we're adventurers, there's an evil entity in that fortress, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to become enemies of you by entering that area. Sort of like just announce our presence and like, we're gonna go there, wanted to make sure that's okay. By the way, there's a problem there that we wanted to solve for you.
Okay. What's this guy's name again? Zagriel?
Zylor.
Zylor, okay. I went through every Z name in the book. So I'm gonna tell him, we need information first. And if he knows anyone that knows anything about that fortress,
the fortress would be best taken up with some of the higher ups of the city, and that will take time. However, for more basic information, look no further than right over here. This is our library. It's not got a ton. There is one acolyte of Ione who tends to stay here, who may be willing or able to help you out with information.
Ah, excellent. Then would you like to perhaps try to find information elsewhere while I remain here? Or doesn't quite seem like we'll hang out.
Out of character. Did Seymour say he was kicked out of someplace?
Yes.
Where did he say he was kicked out of?
That's rather personal, and I prefer not to talk.
Out of character.
Then please restate your question. So you asked where he said he got kicked out of?
Did he say he got kicked out of? He said he got kicked out of someplace. Did he say where that was?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Like, I mean, he said our home, but that's not exactly specific. Do you see the doorway there, Lady Amelie?
Yes.
Alright.
Kind of.
I need to add the acolyte. 1 second. This is probably going to come in big. Oh, but on the wrong layer, so I can fix it first.
I don't think we could see it anyways.
Boop. There, you gotta... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Dang it.
We're in the city now, aren't we?
Yes, this is the city. I glossed over kind of the entrance a little bit, as you wouldn't have any trouble really as you're with Zymor.
So everyone recognized him.
Yes, people recognized him.
Were their reactions to him good?
Neutral, just kind of a hey,
Okay.
welcome back. I think one probably would have asked, haven't seen Edward around recently. Where's he been? Kind of a thing. But he would dodge the question.
Good.
So I'm just going to turn to him and go, so you're from this city?
I am now.
Now, where were you from before?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Jesus Christ, what just popped in on me?
That's the token I meant to use.
Okay. The fake
Oh yeah!
background, oh god.
Originally spent some time at, kind of all over, but, Stonefell's where I originally come from.
I wish we're not wanting to talk about it.
Oh, you twisted my arm.
Well, he's still not talking about it much, because he's giving a name of a continent, not like the name of a city. But that's all I'll speak of it for now, at least.
Which one is Stonefell?
That is the central island.
Oh, the steel.
What?
One that Steelport is on?
Yes. One where Steerport and Vino can be found.
Hmm.
So, what of you, sir? What do you need here? Information, lodging, equipment.
Probably arrange some lodging to start with.
Then follow me.
Doing a bit of research. You should probably move both characters because it's taken me ages.
Good internet.
Yeah, sorry. Hopefully it won't be too bad in the future. But, so I'll try not to use this map too much. But, here you are. Here's the, inn. Which I forgot to name.
It's the stumble in. They're just all the stumble in.
Franchise. Is this the edge of the map?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just called the Between, and the shop to the right is called Rock, and our place to the left is called a Hard Place.
There's no place to left.
Oh.
There is now.
Oh, you could call it like a hearth place.
Okay.
Is where the hearth is.
This needs a token.
Now you're saying it's Nilian Hinton, Martha Hinton Thane.
Okay. He was like, Zymar, been a little while. What's brought you here?
Puffy.
So I was showing this one where he could get some lodging for the mornings. He was out all night. You can have just your team. After you, he won't bite.
Yeah, I am going to need space for 8 of us.
There should only be 7 unless you're counting Zymor.
Let's go Dirk. So there's Zenon, Pascal, Dirk, Amelie, Al, Melisari there,
Hi.
and Gus. Gus joining us.
Yep, that would be 7.
Okay. 7.
That'll be 7 gold pieces, sir.
Zenon.
Zenon. Alright. We only have 1-person rooms here, so here's 7 keys. Do with them what you'd like.
I haven't handed over the gold yet, because I don't have 7 gold pieces.
Oh. Oh, that's a problem.
Our nobleman is poor.
Well, I was making money, but then someone pulled me away.
We had places to be.
And then you were about money like 5 minutes after that.
Didn't you make money?
Yeah, I made like 2 gold pieces.
Oh.
You could, whatchamacallit, just pay for your own room, let the others fend for themselves.
I'm going to say I'll pay 3 now and 4 when the rest show up.
Alright, then you get 3 keys now, and 4 when the rest shows up.
Well, hold on to the keys. Just hold on to them.
That's what I just said.
No, that's... Oh? Just hold on to all the keys.
Oh. So then you don't want a room? I'm confused.
I don't need the keys right this minute. I will be out doing something else.
Yes, and you take the key with you. That's how it works.
Why would I take the key out of the inn? That makes no sense.
That's what you do in a normal hotel, though, like in real life.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you show up, you check in, they give you your room keys, you put your stuff in the room, and then you go out and about your business. You take the keys with you so you can get back in your room.
Huh. I don't use hotels.
Damn, fancy pants over here.
Uh,
Over here, no gold, but I don't use hotels.
I'll put 2 gold down then. Take 2 keys. And then hold 5 aside for me. No.
I'll hold them for a little while, but if you don't come back too soon with that money, I'll have to, sell them off to whoever else comes in.
Very well.
So he'll give you 2 keys. You want the second 2 doors on the left. He just kind of points down the hallway.
Thank you. What am I meant to do now?
You need anything else, or should I go see about getting you that audience with the higher ups?
Is it just me going to talk to them, or Emily?
It might be all of you. I don't know. I should be ready by the time the rest of them get back, if they come back.
That's morbid and encouraging.
Very well. I'll rejoin Emily.
All right. Do you want me to just drag you over there?
Hmm?
All right. I'll do a little bit more with Amelie, and then I'll jump back to you guys. Okay. So, Amelie, what were you doing in this time?
So, I would have gone into the library, and I'm assuming, is the, I don't know, librarian here, or is he
Yes.
like, okay, does he notice me come in?
Yes, he's right in front of you. That's what that token is. He's like,
I
um,
wasn't sure.
right, yeah, that's fair. Hello. Is there welcome to the library? Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, actually, I'm looking for information on that, whatever the name of that fortress is.
The Forgotten Fortress.
Yeah, the Forgotten Fortress.
You forgot the Forgotten Fortress.
Fuck off.
Get that.
Is there something specific you're looking for?
Would you happen to have any I feel like I might sound sus if I ask for blueprints, but like kind of would be nice to know the layout of the place before we get there. Actually, you know what? Just whatever you have on it.
You're interested in the architecture.
Yeah.
All right. I have some history on the goings on there, along with, don't know if we have it on hand, but I could put in a request for the, building designs at the Temple of Arathis.
Oh, yes, that would be excellent, please.
All right. It will take me some time. I don't always make it up to the upper ring of the city.
That's fine.
But in the meantime, here, I have this smaller history of, of the Forgotten Fortress history. Most don't read it as they don't take an interest, but so I'm glad it'll be getting some use. Here you are.
My thanks. So I will take a seat and read up on that.
Okay. I think I will jump back to the people while I spitball some finer details in my head about what it is you'll be reading.
Go for it.
So, last I recall, y'all made some 20s for your second survival check.
Yes.
Indeed.
So, it's going to be about another half hour, so we've gotten to about 8 a.m.
And we feel confident that we are following good tracks.
Yes, you see kind of some telltale signs of hunting, kind of waiting in certain places that look like they'd be good spots to pick off game if somewhere to come by, near streams and things, where, things might come to get a drink. But then off in the distance, you hear this just horrifying screech. You assume it to be bestial in nature because you don't know what else could make such a noise.
Perhaps we should move towards that?
I definitely think that wherever that's happening, something is in trouble.
Al would nod and look at the rest of them. Do you mind if I run ahead?
Just
Feel
don't
free.
be seen.
Actually,
I
quite
am-
good at being not seen.
I'll just be following along. I don't hide well.
Al would grin at
Kerchunk.
what
Kerchunk.
Eskel had
Kerchunk.
said. And I'm going to try running ahead, but I do want to be stealthy about it.
Oh, hold up! Oh, wait.
Hold up.
Hang on. I gotta make sure I actually have the slots. Yes. I do have this. Yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna, cast invisibility on you.
Yes!
So basically just, here, let me help.
Nice. So I'm running ahead.
Alright, so
I damn well better make sure I get a long rest.
not long, like we're talking 5 minutes or less of you guys running after this sound. You'll see you'll hear another screech, much louder this time, so you must be getting close. And what are people's passive perceptions?
16?
My passive is
15.
dumb.
9.
13.
Passive perception. Mine is also 13, apparently.
Alright. So those of you with 13 or higher, which I believe is most if not all of you,
It's only not Dirk.
okay. We'll see a darkened shadow swooping the skies as it seems to have found as whatever that thing is, seems to have found some sort of prey.
Lovely.
I suspect we might be the prey.
I'm concerned more that we're not.
Alright.
Al would be looking around to try and see if she can't find / see any trace of Edward.
I'm just gonna yell out for Edward.
Oh dear.
Edward!
Let me think about the distances here. I assume you're shouting much louder than you are into your mic just because you don't want to, you know.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just making sure.
After
Use
I've
thumb
said that,
energy.
your grandfather sent us!
All you'll hear in response is him shouting, "Run!"
Run? Oh boy. Okay.
Not without you. Who's got the medallion? I think we're gonna need it.
The what?
Who's got the returning medallion?
Oh! Good question. Eskel
I have it.
Melsa.
Do you speak Celestial, Draconic, or...
I speak Celestial. I
can
point at
tell you the word
Melisari.
in
She's got
Draconic.
Draconic. But
Did she tell you ahead of time what the word for returning is?
I mean, she can have, but it also doesn't matter. It takes a second to say a word.
Alright, let me move you guys on to this map over here. This one's significant. Let me see if I can rotate it real quick, because it's not quite the orientation I'd like.
All out of melon soda!
It's a sad face moment there.
Must be melancholy.
Ah,
Damn it, melancholy.
An interesting soda the other day. I had the Blue Raspberry Crush Sour Patch Kids soda.
that's actually not bad.
It's really good, isn't it?
I thought it was good. Anywho,
I get the melon soda from a Japanese restaurant. Melon flavor is very popular in Japan.
Yeah, is it the Ramune or is it the...
Nah, I don't really care for ramen. This is, just, according to this, it's tasty melon creamy soda.
It's from
There's Castle
UCC.
soda.
Yeah, it says quality by UCC. God, I love the English.
Nope, I think that one.
There's a Japanese apple soda that's really good.
They're all
I mean, most apple
yeah.
soda is really good.
0%
apparently-
juice.
I could apparently get Calpis on Amazon in bulk, and that kind of makes me happy
You should do it. Calpis is great.
because every time we go out and get curry from the Wellesley School building, I keep forgetting to get it.
Gotta get you.
I want curry.
Alright, and so we also need Gus.
There was a place near campus Andrew took me once. It was a really good curry. I think they
Have you ever
closed
been to the one at Porter Square, Kate?
I don't remember.
Next time you come to Mass, I'm going to make sure I can get the train that day.
Well, I'll get curry.
So, feel free to arrange your guys anywhere in this like bottom right corner, except for Al. You would have rushed ahead to somewhere around there.
I was gonna say, qu'est-ce que c'est?
The other
You
one's
said bottom
Sue.
right corner?
Yeah.
Just so
I
I
need
know
to-
what's going on. Ah, found it. Neat.
That's a pretty lake.
It is a pretty indeed.
I don't think I really want to be in the backpack. Especially with a flying thing.
Valid. Oh, I'm realizing I don't like the aftertaste of this soda. Ugh. That's not great.
Initiative?
Yes, please roll initiative. I will pull it up.
These dice are all banished. They've been rolling nothing but single digits since last night.
That's
I haven't
a
rolled
shame.
less than a 17 yet.
All turns.
17 total.
Also, I really recommend this Beyond 20 addition to Chrome. It's very easy.
Nishi. Where's my... Thank you.
All right, if everyone can enter your initiatives into the Thank you. Let me see here.
Roll 20 loves me at least. Die.
Don't die, please.
I missed
I
the
think
Corsair
it's a very
screen.
bad day to die.
Oh,
Excuse
hey,
you.
potato.
Who used that as their notification tone? Was it Drew?
Huh?
Somebody had that it's a good day to die as a notification tone.
Me.
You?
Yeah, I was a big StarCraft player.
Gotcha. I don't even know where it's from other than you.
Yeah, it's the
And then Drew was, of course. I have a weird memory.
Al, what was your initiative?
22.
Oh dear. That's concerning.
It's not as big as it popped in as.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
It's Raul Julia as M. Bison shouting, of course.
Of course.
What the fuck is that?
Probably a Drake.
You may roll,
Nature.
probably nature. It's a monstrosity.
Nature?
I'm gonna go with nature.
Okay.
12.
Okay.
I'm neither intelligent nor proficient. Do I still get to roll?
Yeah, you can still roll. You just aren't gonna be good at it.
19.
Don't die, Tristan.
Wow.
All the dice have given up on me.
I guess.
Oh, what happened?
Haskell's going to roll one number higher than me the entire time.
I don't remember. How do you pull up the little thing to make those checks like that?
The folded newspaper at the top says journal. You click on that, and then under that you should be able to see your name. Click on your name, and then the second tab there is character sheet. Then you just click on the skill, and it'll do it.
As
Yeah.
I've just discovered, there's a D&D Beyond there's an extension for Chrome that'll let you roll from D&D Beyond into Roll20.
That probably would be more helpful to me because apparently I don't have a character sheet in Roll20.
It's
You
called
do?
Beyond 20. It's super fast to install.
Well,
I
I
did it.
do, but
It's just not
there's
filled
nothing
out.
in it. Yeah,
If you want, I can fill it out between sessions next time.
it's fine. I'm happy rolling on the table.
My nature was a 19.
Okay.
The real die, 5. The Roll20 die was a 6. And the D&D Beyond die was a 4. So...
4, 5, 6.
So Al, what was your initiative again? Sorry.
22.
22. Okay. So, Al, you are up first.
Wonderful. I don't know where I am other than invisible.
You're invisible and you're by that
Oh,
like
hello.
number thing.
I see myself. Yeah, we Gucci.
Oh dear.
I like
I
that
don't
the
even.
one
Oh wait, I
time
can't see you anyway.
I rolled a 17 on die for initiative. I still go last.
6 Dark Vision is what the circle represents.
Yep.
Issue.
What?
My dark
I
vision's
can
only
see
40
farther
feet.
than that.
Yeah, it's diagonals. I forgot about that. I
So
still haven't
it,
fixed it.
Roll20 measures diagonals is 1, 2, 1, 2.
So, let me turn on daylight mode so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. I missed like an entire sentence before I got to it.
Alright, you guys should be able to see again. I just needed it so I can put some dynamic light on those walls on those things up there. It's just,
Because that is mostly my fault.
no, you're fine. It's just the stupid thing is.
Hell.
I also don't know how much sunrise or moonlight we have left or anything, so.
It's 8 a.m., so I would say everything with where the mountain is, and the rocks are. I'd say you guys have dim light everywhere.
So we can vaguely see it, but not well.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually going to step in front of this log thing. Now I need to try and see if I can. Maybe? Okay. I am going to fire my arrow at it.
Okay. Cool. Roll your attack.
Will do.
So I think you got dynamic lighting. Oh, you're still adding it. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, this one was added in a hurry.
Does a 16 hit?
Does a 16 hit? I believe it does. Let me just double check. Ace. Yeah, 16 will hit.
16 will hit.
Did you
Nice.
also roll with advantage?
I'm just gonna see if I can crit, and I don't. But that's a 17.
Okay. So
You
you
are
still
no
hit.
longer invisible.
Yeah, once my character sheet decides to load, so I know what I'm doing. Okay, longbow.
Guys, I'm with 5 on nature. I don't know what it is.
You do not. However, I forgot. Al does. You know it to be a Gloomstalker. Something that should only be in the Shadowfell, but for some reason is here. Why, you don't know, and that's frankly terrifying.
Yeah, Al is very much so bothered. So, I do get sneak attack, correct?
You do.
Yeah. we're invisible.
Cool.
You also know that it is weak to sunlight, it likes to snatch up its prey and carry it off, and is vulnerable to radiant damage.
Do
Wonderful.
you tell us any of this?
I'm not going to give my position away immediately, but
I know.
after
You are no longer invisible, by the way.
Yeah, when you shoot, you become.
I figured.
visible. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would probably mention it. But that's an 18 in total for damage.
Alright, it takes 18 points of damage and notices you.
Oh, fuck.
Full spell slots left.
Did I use any spell slots before this battle?
2 first levels.
Cool. That leaves
I
me
don't
in good
remember
shape.
when I last cast Mage Armor.
It would be running out probably after this fight, but you've
Okay.
got at least a good 10-20 minutes.
Okay, good.
And I end my turn.
Okay, Estel Triniger, you're up.
Guy. Alright. I don't know what it is, but she said that it's weak to radiant. Can she have gotten that much off?
Yep.
Did she also mention it doesn't like daylight?
Any of the things, she can mention the 3 things that I mentioned, if she wishes.
Do I know
To which
any of
I
that
would've.
as a 12, by the way?
With a 12, you said?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know what it's called.
A double move here. and get up there. So, double moving. Are we aware of anything here other than this creature?
You can hear kind of shouting and cowering from within the building up here.
Okay. So yeah, just going to double move, and I'm going to say there's people that need to be protected. Let's get up there.
And you, as you arrive on the scene, you notice something kind of like bashing at the door, trying to get in.
Yeah. So I double move. That's it for me.
So we can move directly on the diagonal, and that's 5?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Sadly, the lighting setup in this is not following the rule, which is why I can't use it all the time.
Yeah.
Is there not a setting for it?
Not yet.
That's annoying. Foundry has that.
What's my... Is my move 5 or
I like.
6?
It should be 6.
I miss 4th edition for that.
But then everything just said number of squares.
Yeah.
4th edition was nicely streamlined in some ways. A lot of ways.
Okay. 20 times 5 is 100, right, guys?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm 105 away from it, and I can cast Magic Missile at it. Which I will do...
You know that there's a quick measure tool you can use, right?
Yeah, but I don't trust it, because it was being all weird.
No, the measurement's correct. The measurement
okay,
is always
good.
correct. It's just the lighting that's wrong, which is so dumb.
Well, yeah, that is really dumb. Anyway. Now I just have to decide if I want to cast it at 1st level, or if I want to go all out and cast it at 3rd. I'll just do it 1st for now. $11 total force damage. 11 force damage.
11 points of force damage.
I need to get out some more d4s. I can just roll it all at once.
Hmm. Alright, so... I guess that means it's on to Gus's turn, assuming you're done. No, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So, Gus, you're up.
Alrighty. I would like to move up 30 feet. And diagonal's not 1s and 2s, right?
Correct.
Alright, so 5, 10, 15, 30. That puts me within 120, right? Actually, I would like to be over here.
It should.
Then I would like to cast Guiding Bolt
Okay,
at 1st level.
okay.
So mark that off. Casting Guiding Bolt. 16 to hit.
That will hit.
10 radiant damage.
Oofga.
It shouldn't be happy about that. That's actually a terrible roll, too.
Yeah, that's what the Oofga was about. The roll was poor, but the damage is still good. So he'll take 20 points of radiant damage as it lets out a shriek being hit by this.
I wanted to use Daylight, the spell.
But it doesn't produce daylight.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Gotta get you some
Yeah.
sunbeam.
Oh yeah, later. That's a much higher level spell. It's a really epic spell though. Even Moonbeam would have been useful. That's a
So-
druid only.
Alright, anything else, Gus? I think that's enough. Dirk, you're up.
I double move to here. It's
Alright,
my turn.
alright. It's the Gloomstalker turn. It's going to fly to there while I
Only
move
we
the
had
map.
a cleric with thaumaturgy who could get its attention.
It's going to move to here. It's going to be 80 feet in the air. Well, actually, let me double check something.
This is terrifying.
It's going to be, check that. It's going to be 50 feet in the air.
Oh, I don't like that.
And it is going to let out a shriek. I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Lovely.
I'm ostensibly good at that.
I don't.
Oh, thank God.
Jang.
I got an 18.
I got an 11.
I got a
a
7.
17.
I got a 7 because I rolled a natural 1.
Goose!
Ah!
So I heard okay, let's see. Let me hear those again. Sorry,
I got an 18.
18. That's pass.
Another 18.
That's a pass.
17 for me.
And that's a pass.
11.
Fail.
7.
But 7 passes, right?
Fail. Okay.
So all I needed to roll was 10.
Dirk and Gus, you are both paralyzed.
Fudge nuggets.
Until the end of the creature's next turn.
If only it would have cast.
And that is its turn. Al, you're up.
Yep, I thought so. I'm, I assume. Wait. Because there's a space between me and, the creature, do they get attack of opportunity?
No, because it's 50 feet in the air.
Okay.
It is 5
It's
feet
not
away from
standing
you,
next to you.
and 50
I know, but
like-
still, it's slightly intimidating. I'm gonna hop over here.
You should also have advantage on your hit because of the guiding bolt.
Yes, which means you can get sneak attack. Wherever.
Oh, that's wonderful. That makes me content.
At least I'm being useful.
This is true. So I'm going to knock an arrow and try hitting it again.
Alright. Please roll advantage.
I'm glad I have advantage. That is a lot better. That is 14. That is a 22 hit, non-natural.
That will hit. Roll damage.
So and a 12.
For damage.
Yes.
Alright, it takes 12 points of damage. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No.
Eskel, your turn.
All right. It is above me, huh?
Yep.
Feet up. I guess the big question. While we were searching, probably didn't have any weapons out, but when we heard that somebody was in trouble, probably would have gotten them out, right?
Yep. And
So-
you can have your choice of weapons, as you did see it was a flyer.
I saw it ahead of time. Okay.
You saw something that you saw there was something flying. And,
Yeah,
2 and 3
there was
together.
a shadow passed overhead.
Okay. Well, can't get radiant with ranged attacks, but I still. Oh. Hang on a second. Maybe I can do something else, though. Action, action, action. Golly. Why is it not telling me? Casting time, 1 action. Okay. Let's start with this then, just to make everybody better. I'm gonna hit it with Fairy Fire. Because it's
Okay.
up 50 feet in the air, I don't risk hitting anybody else.
Fair enough.
So it has to make a dexterity saving throw, DC 14.
It made it.
Okay, nothing happens. Whoops. The wrong button. I'm going to do moving toward the stairs. I'm
All
gonna
right.
shout tauntingly at it,
Neener, neener, come get me.
basically.
It seems to notice, but not change course.
Alright, that's it for my turn.
Alright.
Melisari, you're up.
3 feet up, right?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna use Ray of Frost.
Okay.
21.
21. That will hit.
Fabulous. And it is 7 cold damage. And its speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Okay. Takes 7 points of cold damage. And then it is on to Gus's turn, I believe, unless you want to move or do something else. Okay, then on to Gus's
Oh,
turn.
sorry. I don't
Remember
know
to
why I
announce
thought
the
you
ends of your
talked to
turns,
Gus.
guys.
Gus,
So
you're
I am
paralyzed.
paralyzed until the end of my turn.
Yes.
So no saves, just I'm unparalyzed now.
Yep.
Great.
So,
Makes my
Dirk,
life less dangerous.
You're paralyzed.
So.
bad guys. To roll a thing. Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's going to swoop down. And did I say it's till the end of your turn? Because that's incorrect. You're paralyzed until the end of its turn.
Okay.
So it's going to swoop down at the person that
Oh dear.
blasted it with
Stuff.
radiant damage.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a snatch attack. That is a 26 to hit.
Yeah, that will hit.
Alright, so then you get hit for a crit because you're paralyzed.
Right.
Oh dear.
So please take... Let's see... please take 34 points of damage. 14
Okay.
of it is necrotic, the rest is slashing.
Okay.
And you are now restrained, but you're no longer paralyzed, as this thing begins flying off.
Oh dear. I'm gonna shout.
Can I shout something as I'm flying away?
Yes, because you're now just restrained instead of paralyzed.
Save the boy! I will be fine.
Oh dear.
He says that.
Oh dear.
Next up is Al.
Hold on.
And
Do
you
I
remember that
risk-
speed is reduced, right?
Let me see. What was
10
it?
feet.
Let me undo. So let me see here. It was
10 feet, but still.
35.
Also, it's only one
And it
size
was
class
roughly
larger than
here.
me.
So okay, so then it's 5 feet less. So it's just there instead of
It's only
there.
and it's only one size class larger than me.
Yes.
Does it have a? I guess it doesn't matter.
Do I risk hitting Gus if I fire an arrow?
You do not.
If you choose to attack her, then you would.
I do not choose to attack her, but I am going to try to shoot the... I've officially forgotten the name. But
Gloomstalker.
Gloomstalker. Do
Is guiding
I
bolt still an
have
effect?
it?
It is not.
Oh well. That is...
Am I considered to be threatening it?
You are adjacent.
That's a 24 to hit.
Alright, you hit. Roll a sneak attack.
Wonderful. $25.
25 damage.
Yeah.
Alright. It goes down.
Hell yeah.
You have a new problem.
Death.
Falling to my death.
Death. Maybe our wizard has the reaction Featherfall.
I do not.
Unfortunate.
Condit.
So, we're gonna make this a little interesting. Gus, I need you to try and escape this grapple before you fall to your doom.
Hey, bottomless pit.
So, as it's no longer actively trying to hold on to you, make the grapple check with advantage.
Oh, okay. I want to use athletics. 8.
That's unfortunate.
8 is not enough. So you'll continue falling. Like the thing.
Can I do something else with my action? Oh wait. Do I have any idea how far I look like I'm falling?
It looks like
I probably got a good look at the pit as I flew over it, right?
it looks like it's about 60 feet down.
In addition to the 50 feet he was already flying at.
Yep.
Fun. It'll be fine.
Although I
It's,
think it'll only be like
it's
20
only
feet off the ground at this
11d6 of
point.
damage.
It's only like, I forgot, it's only 20 feet off the ground because I had to swoop down to pick him up.
So, 80 feet. And,
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? Maybe if it's still grabbing you, it'll count as a cushion.
I mean, I'll say this, well, no, I'll wait. We'll see how this goes, and then I'll reveal. So, is there anything else you'd like to try, like with your bonus action, or...
Al would immediately be dropping to her knees in pure shock and disbelief.
Is there something else you're wanting to try, like a spell or something? You mentioned something, Todd.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna. It's an action though, so.
I will say this: you have enough time to make one more attempt at something, or one more grapple check to try and break yourself free.
I was just gonna use my my channel divinity to heal myself for 25 points.
Okay, you can do that.
I don't know how many times I can do that a day.
I think it's like 1 or 2, but it's a short rest action, like a short rest ability. Remember, you can only go up to half your hit points.
Only up to half my hit points?
If you're using the channel divinity, yes.
Okay. So if someone's at half hit points, I can't heal them higher?
Correct. But you can split amongst other people that are at half or less.
Oh. Okay, I missed that part. Maybe I don't want to use that then.
Alright. Well,
Nope,
you have
I guess
enough...
I'll do nothing.
Well, you can make one more grapple check.
Alright.
Yeah, I was giving you 2 attempts, like, one forced grapple check, just see if that works. And then 1 chance to be creative, or take a grapple check if you don't have anything.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, cool.
Jesus.
You just had a gloat about rolling well earlier, didn't you?
Yep.
Alright. So with that, you're going to fall 60 feet into this canyon near the mountainside and take 6d10 damage. Or no, 8d10 damage, because I forgot about the other 20 feet you're already flying.
Is it D10?
D6, sorry, D6. It used to be
okay,
D10.
D10 would maybe kill me.
So, slash R...
It used to be a d10 per 10 feet, now it's a d6 per 10 feet.
8d6, there we go, 8d6. Okay, please take 35 points of damage.
Okay.
Bludgeoning, not bludgeoning, but falling damage.
Okay. I'm at 1 hit point.
Because you're a half-orc.
Because I'm a half-orc.
Okay, if I had taken 70 points of damage, I'd be dead twice over.
Well, no, I was unconscious for a second, and then I woke up and went, frickin' winged things. That hurt.
Half-orcs have...
Hey! Hey! I need help.
Help her!
And now I'm gonna use my divine deal and heal to half my HP.
Yeah.
Yay, life clerics.
Yay, half-orcs, too, because they come with their own death ward.
Al
I'm gonna
would
be
be...
learning about how I knew I should have taken Featherfall. I was living in a damn tower for 3 years. 10 years.
How difficult does this thing seem to get out of?
Once you're on the ground and can actually get some leverage, you can get out of it with no effort.
No, I meant like,
It's pit?
Yeah.
A rope would be awesome.
Yeah.
Al would still be mortified, so she wouldn't be moving.
You basically either need a rope, a very high athletics check, or a climber's kit.
And apparently your athletics checks are shit right now, so I recommend a rope.
Yeah.
And so I begin pulling out a rope.
Yeah, I don't even think I have a rope. Which is silly.
Had one of the other people who had been complaining about weights of things given me their rope?
They all threw them at me.
Oh. I thought I took them all, because you also have complaints about weight.
I have 8
Yeah.
strength, okay? I can carry my own shit.
Okay.
I'm gonna
But-
actually
yeah, you
move
probably have some
toward
rope.
Eskel at this point, figuring you guys can handle the guy in the pit.
Yeah, if
Just in
we're
case
out of
there's
initiative,
anything
then I'm gonna
further.
continue heading this way. My team has that other thing covered.
Wait, can
Before
I have
we
a second
continue-
rope?
Before we continue, I'm going to jump back
I
to
don't have a
Team
second
Noble.
rope.
So, Noble Team.
Which one of them is Noble 1 and which one is Noble 2?
Obviously, it's Lady Amelie that's Noble 1.
Kiss ass.
So Lady Amelie gets to be Cat? Is that right? Cat Noble 1?
I don't remember.
I prefer being number 2 anyway, because it's a even number.
Oh, give me a second here.
Noble 1 is Carter.
So,
I was on the right server.
Lady
help.
Amelie, you have your history book that you're poring over while you wait for the librarian to go and fetch some blueprints, if memory serves. Is that correct?
And she stepped away.
I don't know. Nicole? Nicole!
Alright, I guess I will deal with it and come back to Merp when she is back.
She has lost her role as Noble 1.
So, Finon, what would you be doing?
I was on my way back to the library.
Okay, oh, looks like Merp's back, so 1 second. Merp,
8.
the fight is over. We're back to you guys. So, to the best of my knowledge, you are poring over a history book while waiting for the librarian to go and fetch some blueprints, if at all possible.
Yep.
Okay. So, is there specific information you're looking for? Are you skimming? Are you just reading it from cover to cover? What's the goal here?
I mean, is it a thick book? Like,
It's not very thick, but the fortress has been around for a couple hundred years.
I mean, if it's not that thick, I could probably read it all.
Okay. Then you would be aware that it was one of Mount Mistal's first attempts at topside expansion. One of its first and only attempts at topside expansion at that.
Okay.
Dang it, I know I had names for these people somewhere. Let me pull them up. Okay. I wrote this down. Let me try and find it. appears to have not saved. That's awesome. Get out of here with that. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Phew. You know that the fortress was established about 500 years ago. An attempt at one of the early attempts at topside expansion in this very dangerous area, in hopes of being able to reclaim it and kind of cleanse it from the monsters that roam it.
Does the book specify what kind of monsters are in the area?
Let me pull some up. Drow, orcs, those not really being monsters, but still problematic creatures in the area. This thing counter builder, that's that. Monsters. Atrocities. Oh, what are those?
It's a bot.
Rhythm.
Ah.
What?
There's also trolls and giants in the area, along with some harpies and sirens along the coasts. And along with the occasional bullet.
Bullet.
At least I think that's how you pronounce that. Tristan can probably correct me.
You can pronounce it however you like. I pronounce it Bulette. It's Bullette. Some people just pronounce it bullet. But I say Bulette.
Also some things like manticores and chimera.
Got a whole fucking menagerie over here.
I mean, this place is more or less festering with monstrosities.
That's where the faunus live.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a big mistake.
So, and it kind of goes etc. It, there are more to list than it has pages. It more or less feels like. This is a history book. It doesn't exactly focus on on the creatures, but interesting. I'll deal with that later. And you learned that Targa was the name of a female dwarf who had been put in charge of the fortress in its construction and establishment of the area. There seemed to be some sort of there were numerous problems with the expansion, especially in terms of combat and just being underprepared to fight the creatures and occasional fiends and undead that would also be around, in addition to the monstrosities. And so, it makes mention that she appeared to have been seeking a paladin in some of her last days, but not long after some form of tragedy swept the fortress, causing everyone in it to be killed, not knowing by what, and having it now be overrun by undead. The fortress was written off as a loss, as it was not even complete with construction, and it would take significant resources to retake, knowing that it was mostly full of skeletons, which you can roll religion on if you want more information about those specifically, because it doesn't list their traits or anything, but...
Sure, why not? Legend stat, but hurts to roll. I'll check what's my plus one. All right, 4. Tell me anything.
Tells you they're spooky bones that walk on their own.
Nice. Can I get the full name of that female dwarf that was in charge of construction?
You can at a later date when I make the last name.
Okay.
Put a note in there.
I will put the first name in chat. So Torga.
Oh,
there you go. And the history book there cites Torga's family and personal journal as some of its sources. So this is a rather old history book.
Shit, the librarian. Sorry. I was gonna see if they had journals. I think he was asking a question.
No, I was just asking if that was what their job had been.
Yes, position.
They weren't really an architect. They were more kind of the military commander in charge of getting the place, like the surrounding area, clear of creatures.
I was just trying to put this information with the name so that later when we see this name, it's like, why was that name important?
Ah.
Military commander.
Yep.
Involved in Forgotten Fortress.
Yep.
That way it's not just like, yeah, there's that name, Torga. What was the importance of that name again? So, that's all I wanted to know.
Alright, are there any other questions you have, Merp?
You said the construction was not complete. Does it mention how far along they were in construction?
It would give a date, like the last day that it was known to have been under construction, and that would be July 26th of the year 10,826.
I just how much of the structure was completed.
It knows that, it would say that there, that doesn't know the full extent of what was or was not completed, but it was at least set up to be defendable for the purposes of clearing the local area. So their presumption is that was half completed, with most of its function being in place, with there being significant amounts of, comfort and other things to be added afterwards.
Does it mention anyone else, important that worked on the project besides Torga?
It does not. They seem to be the kind of end-all be-all head of the project.
Weird. Okay. What materials was used to make it?
It was some of it was stone that was used to add things onto the outside of the mountain, but it is of kind of mist-all design, which is usually the tunneling and carving out of a large piece of stone or mountain. So it's kind of dug into the rock.
So, wait, is it like built into the mountain? Like,
Yep.
what? Okay.
They built it by excavating stone.
Okay. So it's more like some kind of weird mine setup?
Well, it's not really a mine, but it was created in a similar fashion to a mine, as it was dug out as opposed to built.
Dwarves are so fucking weird. Okay. Like, just fucking use a rock and, like, put rocks together to make a building. What's wrong with you?
They did it the other way. They took a rock and then they dug a hole in the rock, and now the rock with the hole in it is the building.
Fucking weird. Okay. Then, can I look around for either, see if they have Torga's personal journals there, or if they have any, books about, I guess, the undead or any of the, well, that's a lot of fucking monsters you mentioned. Anything about that area in general.
Alright, you would roll me some investigation. And while you do that, Thenon, what are you doing?
Have I arrived back at this? This is a library, right?
Correct.
Have I arrived?
Yes.
Damn it.
I'm going to enter the library.
Is Thenon showing up, like, while I'm searching, or how long did it take to read me that book? For me to read that book?
He's probably showing up while you're reading the book, because, I'd imagine it would take, it's a somewhat thick book, so I'd imagine it would take, at least, I don't know how fast other people are at reading, but I'd imagine it would take at least an hour, if not several.
Okay, does an 11... Well, actually, then on, did you have anything to say to me while I'm just chilling reading? I'm gonna ignore you, probably, but you could try to talk to me.
I'm just going to put the key for your room down in front of you.
Alright, you peacing out then?
I want to find a book or something.
Okay. I didn't know you could read. Okay, does 11 find me anything?
11 will not find you any of the journals of Torga.
Mhm.
You're not sure if you just missed them, or if they just don't happen to have them, or what the case might be. But you do find some general information on the area that's more up to date.
Okay.
Referring to the Forgotten Fortress by that name, of course, at this point. Saying that the area is prone to undead, skeletons in particular. That there are some such things as other forms of undead, like flaming skulls in the area as well. And there's talk of shadows that move on their own. Where that seems to be the majority of what it talks about creature-wise. If you wish to research any of those creatures, I can have that be the same role.
Because I don't know if I'm gonna roll better or not. Well, actually, you know what? No, I want to roll again.
Okay.
11 is just my passive. So
Okay.
even if I fuck up, it's still gonna be 11. So all I can do is... God damn. Okay, 11.
Okay. So you are able to find information on skeletons. On these skeletons in particular, actually.
Nice.
They appear to be dwarven, so they're a bit slower, but they seem to be resistant to cold damage, as some have tried assaulting the fortress in the past.
Of course they are.
What'd you say?
I said, of course they are.
As are shadows traditionally. However, the flame skulls are immune to both fire and frost damage, and are a type of undead that requires a special ritual that is unknown to the writer of this book, and that is required to actually keep them dead.
Great. Love that.
Skeletons are also, of course, resistant to piercing damage and vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, as they are, just bones, much more easily crushed than pierced. And lastly, skeletons are known to be... the main reason why there's been attacks on it is because of the Raven Queen and her new followers, as skeletons, in particular, still house the soul of the one who was supposed to have passed on, causing the skeleton to have rudimentary intelligence and act in a way kind of pantomiming how it was in life in some of its final days. So if there's skeletons at a fortress, they're likely to still act like they're manning the fortress. At least until they encounter something that breaks their routine.
I'm not here for this, am I?
You are not.
I'm still at the bottom of a hole.
Yep.
Okay.
And lastly, unless there's more you wish to research, the librarian will actually come back with the blueprints.
Excellent. Let's look over those.
It was a little difficult to get these, but I got them to cough them up. I hope they prove of use.
Excellent. Thank you. While I'm looking at these, do you happen to know if you have the journals of Torga?
I don't believe we do. Last I knew, they were in someone's private collection. I don't know where though.
Okay. All right. About these blueprints, what do they tell me?
They show. Well, they're not going to tell you much now, but if you were to get a copy of them, they could show you the differences between where things are completed and how things are now. Like, it could show you the differences, like if something never got quite finished. But one thing it does point out, actually roll me some investigation to see this, and get an extra +1 to it.
Okay.
As you've been spending a lot of time in the library in this session and others.
I am a follower of Ione. It's where I like to be. So an extra 19. That's
19. So then, after some careful investigation of the blueprints, you notice that there seems to be markings of some sort of cave or passage that runs between the fortress's war room and the stable, providing for a quick exit from the throne room.
Throne room?
And that would be just off, like, the war rooms would generally be just off the throne room.
They have a throne room in a fortress?
Yes, as it was meant to be kind of a secondary start of a kingdom. I don't know if it was ever quite finished, but there was intentions of making it the start of a second, portion of the kingdom, needing its own place for nobles to do business.
Okay. You said that was from the war room to the stables, right?
Yes. More specifically, the hallway outside the stables.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else I noticed that would stand out to me, or no?
That seems to be it. The only thing that might stand out is that there's two entrances. One kind of to the right side of the mountain, where the stables are, and one on the southern side, which is the main gate. That is supposed to be guarded by 2 ballistas along with soldiers, but you don't know how much of that will have been constructed.
All right. If that's all I can get from this, I'm going to ask the librarian if I could get a copy of these blueprints.
I don't have a great way of copying them, but if you wish, I could help you to make a copy. It's going to take time if it's just myself.
Okay. Do I need to roll something for that?
No, you just need to dedicate time to it, basically.
Okay.
And have paper and ink.
Well, it's a library. The library will supply those.
Interesting.
Generally, in my world, libraries are temples of Ione, which
okay.
are
That
dedicated
makes
to
more
the spread
sense.
of knowledge. So
That makes more
they have
sense.
such things on hand. It's also why this acolyte was willing to go and get those blueprints, even though it probably took, it took significant time, aside from just travel, having to jump through political hoops. But yeah, so lastly, let's see what Thenon wants to do, and then I'll jump back to the other crew.
Okay, I'm going to ask Amelie, what are you reading?
At what point are you asking me this?
Whatever time, what point did I arrive at?
Okay, then this is going to be the history of the Forgotten Fortress. And she will not look at you as she says that. She's just gonna keep, like, reading through the book.
Anything but this Atlas fellow.
What was that?
This Atlas fellow, do we know anything concrete?
Just that, oh gosh, it's been a hot minute. It's out of character. We know he's from Amelie's family and was a paladin? Was he?
Derek.
Sorry, 1 second. My mom needs me for just 1 minute.
Okay.
And I believe Death Knights as a whole were paladins, and they
Broke their oath or something?
they broke their oath and then died before they could be redeemed.
Yeah.
So they become a Death Knight.
Okay.
And are generally considered nigh unbeatable.
Love that.
Telling you, just get to use 7th level spells and just sequester that guy, and then just not a problem anymore. Well, I mean future problem.
Sure. Of course, Gus the cleric has more information.
Is it Gus the cleric? Go on.
Yeah.
Gus the cleric is not around.
She
at
is.
This point.
She is currently buried underneath a Shadowfell beast.
Oof.
That's fine.
That's rough.
It's a Tuesday.
I'm back.
Having taken 70 points of damage and had to essentially get bounced off the pavement like a bouncy ball.
Didn't you make your saving throw though?
I don't have to.
Oh.
Once a day, orcs come back to life, essentially.
Oh, okay.
If we don't die outright, we get we come back to consciousness with 1 hit point.
Actually, it's slightly different. You drop to 1 hit HP instead of
drop
going
to 1
unconscious.
HP instead. Okay.
Which means you don't lose concentration on things either.
Super cool.
Anyways,
Well, so- After you.
so I was asking, out of character, it's been a minute since we discussed Atlas. He's, we know he's a member of the Du Saint-Clair family, and he was a paladin?
Yes,
Right.
he was a paladin of Tiamat from around 500 years ago, and a great uncle in your family.
We know his real name. Is it actually Atlas?
That is your current belief.
And there are no, would be able to find records in here?
Here? I doubt it.
I don't know.
You can ask the librarian.
It's not entirely impossible. As this is likely, what the family likely would have banished him to or outcast him in some form once they discovered his worship of Tiamat, but I suppose that's up for Lady Amelie here to decide.
Oh yeah, kick him out. Bye bye.
Would he been struck from history though?
He wouldn't be considered a part of the family as much, but there would still be records of someone by the name of Atlas.
Okay, I didn't know if it would be like the Egyptian version of being struck from history.
Right, I feel like family probably wouldn't want anybody to know about old,
Right, that's what I was thinking,
Tiamat bitch over here.
That's
All
honestly
right,
what I was
well,
thinking.
then I shall leave it to you. As much information as you'd like to be have stricken from the record, can
I mean,
Be stricken from the record in a Temple of Ion.
would the Temple of Ion know about it though? Because this happened 500 years ago, and it's a family matter. So
Yeah. The fact that it's so private is why they'd be able to get away with the Temple of Ion not necessarily knowing. But if a Temple of Ion did get their hands on it, it would be public record.
Choose a DC and roll a d20. How likely do you think it would be for your family to hide it?
good. Say it'd be very likely.
How likely is it for a servant of the house to gossip?
Because I mean, at that point, I think didn't we decide that was going to be like before the family was even like nobles?
Well, if it was before, which I did try to work out these details in advance, but things ended up being a little foggy. If it was before, if you want the Atlas event to have been before the family was nobles, then it needs to have been, I believe, prior to 600 years ago, but I could be wrong. It's just, yeah. I'm not quite sure of the timetable anymore. To the best of my knowledge, you wanted your family to become nobles when the dragon entered the bloodline. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, and that was 600 years ago.
Okay.
At least that's what you told me.
So
It's
100
hard
years
to
after you are nobles, this event of death knighthood occurred, basically.
Or we can move it, as its date is not super important. I do want this to, kind of feel like you're a bit of the story here.
Maybe it doesn't have to be before, but maybe like closer to when they became nobles.
Okay, so
I just
call
feel
it
like
550 years.
that would
550.
make more animosity. Get kicked out right as we become nobles. Oof, that's rough,
All
buddy.
right. So, yeah, somewhere
There's
within the
nothing wrong with
500
the
to 600 years ago. So we'll just make it a bit more vague.
Yeah.
And, have them be kind of part of the first generation of nobles. If that sounds good to you.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think that's all we if
Okay.
that's all we know. So
Then,
yeah,
after you.
sorry, I'll just tell Thenon, he's apparently yet another member of my family down the line. And we know that he is a paladin, or was formerly a paladin.
I'm thinking. So, Atlas de Saint-Clair was a paladin.
Apparently,
Paladin of Tiamat, or
Did we, like, confirm he was a paladin of Tiamat?
It was. I mean, I've talked about it enough. I'm just gonna say yes, because I just don't. I would like to keep the record clear at this point.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if that was just, like, DM knowledge that we have heard, or, like, if somehow that information got out.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily confirmed, but it's highly likely, as you are aware, that his worship of Tiamat is what got him kicked out. So that could be the entire reason why that he went to full on service of her, which is why he was removed.
Yeah, see, the whole reason I'm a little confused now is because if he's been stricken from the records, I don't know if Amelie would know about it, considering she didn't even know about the first uncle that was kicked out of the family.
Well, I imagine one's a little different from the other, as one was.
One's the one that's still gossiped about 600 years later, because it was such a scandal inside the family.
I mean, that could be one way to look at it, but the reason you would know about Atlas is because he's come after other sorcerers in your family before, so he'd be kind of like he'd more or less be the boogeyman of your childhood.
Okay.
That's why he'd still be talked about, whereas the other one is just someone who shouldn't have been born.
That's harsh.
Right, back to you, Thomas.
Okay, so who's this guy beside me?
That is the librarian.
I'm going to turn to him and say, so apparently, Atlas to Sinclair, 500-600 years ago, possibly a paladin. Definitely a paladin. Maybe a paladin or something else before that, I don't know. Would I be able to find records?
Perhaps. I don't know of anyone by that name. We might not have anything here, but there could be something. If it was of particular importance, he might have shown up in the Hall of Histories.
And that is?
It's located deeper in the mountain, more for citizens only. It's where we keep the important historical events etched in stone somewhat as they happen, so as to have the most accurate records and, not lose things to word of mouth.
So that's for citizens only?
It's just where it happened to be located, as it was created after some of the more public districts. So it's in the more kind of inner section of the mountain, which is not for the public eye. It's more or less the personal history of the dwarves. Not meant for outsiders. I, however, could try and see if I could find something there for you later. I'm not able to take you there, but I could see if I could find what it is you're looking for.
That would be fine. Thank you. And these are all bookshelves, are they?
Yes.
At this point, I'm just going to walk and just kind of peruse bookshelves until I just find a book interesting, or a work of fiction, pick it up, and head over, sit down at this table, and just start reading.
Okay. If you want, I can try and come up with some amount of fiction between games, but
Oh no, it's right. It's just passing the time.
all right.
You read Alice in Wonderland.
Actually, I have an idea for a title. Tales from the One with Scales: A Story of a Sorcerer and His Adventures. Meant to be a work of fiction, which would become quite clear once you start to read it, how kind of grandiose some things are.
Okay, so I'm just reading that then.
Take time.
What was that?
What? Just shit talking. Don't worry about it.
Okay. And with that, we are basically at time. I would kind of like to get the introductions with Edmund out of the way. At least I think that's what I named him. Or was it Edward? It was Edward, I think. I'm going with Edward. But if people need to go, then we can call it here.
Edward's the name of the kid, but we got 2 minutes here.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I hope everybody had fun. And I don't know how to add this to your sheet yet, Lady Amelie, but once I do, assuming you like the idea, I'd like to add +1 to your investigation, as you've been doing a lot of investigating into your own family tree and things at several different places. And it has kind of cost you some of the combats and things. I want there to be some amount of reward for it in there.
Okay.
You just click on the name of the skill, investigation, and then when it brings up the description window, there's a thing that says customize. Then you just hit miscellaneous bonus, put in a 1.
Alright.
Okay. That was weird. Sorry. Keyboard squeak. Shall I end the stream?
I believe you shall.